That is really what davening is all about. Davening is arriving at a state of shalom, a state of internal peace. Life is so complicated, and davening is when we're able to experience complete, the nefesh habahamis, as Alter Rebbe says in Perek Yud Beis. Even someone who's not a tzaddik, we have the ability that when we daven, the nefesh habahamis is in hibernation; it goes to sleep, and we're living from a place of the nefesh halikis. Davening is not about, it's not about the words. The words are the vessels, and if you don't have the inside those words, if you don't have the kavanah, if you don't have the feeling, you don't have the experience of davening, so it's not the real thing. It's not the real thing. Now, to be sure, it's not as if davening is easy. Talk about davening being a place of shalom. It's not as if davening is so easy. And earlier on in Tanya and Likutei Amarim, Dr. Rebbe talks about how it's natural that we're trying to daven and we're experiencing machshava zaros. It's a battle to get into that space of davening. And sometimes your head can feel like a Grand Central Station, and you're trying to focus, and it doesn't seem to be working. And the Alter Rebbe, in Perek Chav Ches of Likutei Amarim, the Alter Rebbe talks about how not to get disheartened by that. When you understand your own internal spiritual anatomy, you understand you have a nefesh elokis, you understand you have a nefesh habahamis, so it kind of makes sense that when you're trying to daven, your nefesh habahamis is gonna, as they say in Yiddish, tel fislach. It's not gonna let that happen without putting up a struggle. So therefore, when you're trying to daven, and it's not easy, it's hard. So that's not a sign of failure. That's a sign that you have to just keep on working. But at the same time, when a person does daven, the goal is to reach a certain space, a certain emotional space, a place of attachment, a place of connection. You might want to call it a state of dveikus, a state of ecstasy. We're in truly the nefesh habahamis is asleep, and you're feeling it. You're talking to Hashem. You're feeling the v'ahavtas Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha. And that's why davening takes time, because to get into that space, it's a struggle to get into that space. But once you get into that space, and that's within the ability of every single person, that's not the domain of a tzaddik. Once you get in that space, what you're experiencing is inner tranquility. You're experiencing shalom, because the nefesh habahamis, it gives up the fight at a certain point. It can't. It's not. It's too powerful. It's too strong for it. Today we have very low neshamas. Back in the day, before, in times of Bayis Rishon, they'd wake up in the morning and they would say, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, v'ahavtas Hashem Elokecha, and boom, they thought Hashem Echad, so I have to love Hashem. They reached that space so quickly, and they were ready for Shemona Esrei. Yeah. And then with the Yeridas Hadoros, as the generations continued, Chazal saw it's not happening. So they added, in times of Bayis Sheni, they added Birchas Kriyishma. And that's supposedly you're talking about the Malachim Hashem creating the heavens and the earth and the Tzva Hashemayim. And when that wasn't enough, because as the Yeridas Hadoros progressed, they added Psuki Dizimra also. There's a reason why davening, especially Shachris, which sets us up for the day, it takes so long. And the reason why is because it starts off as a struggle. In the words of the Zohar, Shas Tzloisa, Shas Karava. The Zohar tells us the time of davening is a time of battle. And you say, well, how does that jibe with? How do you reconcile that with what we're saying over here? That davening is the time of shalom. But the answer is to arrive at the place of shalom. You need a battle. Sometimes you need to do war in order to make peace. That's something which today I think is a little lost in the world. Today, everyone, peace. Yeah, everyone's for peace, but also sometimes you realize that you need to make a war in order to get to peace, because otherwise, if there isn't going to be any peace. And that's what people are radical. What you say, radical peaceniks? That's a concept they don't get. The same thing over here. Davening, you need to make a battle. In the beginning of davening, the Shas Shleitza, Shas Karavam. But the point of that is that during davening, you reach a place of shalom. And there's something which is very incredible and very beautiful about that state of shalom. When you're freed of life's, it's just about you and Hashem. You're not anymore torn. You're not anymore divided. There's a clarity, there's a truth, and that is an incredibly powerful feeling. This having that clarity and not being conflicted.